I was talking to one of the analysts who tracks commodities very closely. He was talking about the underinvestment and the supply-demand gap. You were talking about how copper, how aluminium, these are metals that are going to shoot through the roof in the coming years. And it's not a short-term bet that he's making on the business. He's talking about a multi-year, perhaps a multi-decade cycle to the upside. As the energy transition plays out, that story plays out. Obviously, lithium also gets wrapped up in that narrative. And so how are you looking at the long-term play here?
And it's a great comment. I think there's no doubt where lithium and all of those, copper and now the nickel and all of those commodities are going in the EV and our aim to sort of net zero 2050. So we're all sort of caught up in this whole sort of growth cycle. And again, it comes back to companies like ourselves to being the assets that they have in their group. Our assets, I think, are probably up there with the top. I think our ground position is great. I think our location of our Pilbara assets and our Higginsville assets, and this is not taking anything away from the Lachlan Fold Belt, from where we are over on the East Coast. If this is a brand new province, potentially a brand new province, and we've seen signs of the lithium there, and if should that come up, then we're in the box seat. We have a great position over there. We're down in the right area. It's a large area. We cover a big part of the Lachlan Fold Belt. And so I think our assets are second to none out there. And I think they will take us through and set us up for the long term. And I think longer term, I agree 100% that the copper and lithium is where we want to be.
Right. But for the longer term, do you think players such as yourself would, follow a more aggressive inorganic strategy, M&A, going forward? Do you think consolidation is the way forward, or would there be more competition coming up with, new players joining the fray because it's so underinvested and the demand is just likely to shoot through the roof in the coming years?
And again, I think that question hits a couple of great points. I think, look, a lot of the groups longer term need to have this long-term supply. We have to take that view that this is not going to stop. This needs to go on for a long time. So you need that ground position. You need that assets to draw on. And typically up in the Pilbara area, we're seeing the biggest type of assets, the sort of the 300 plus million tonnes. Whereas down south, there may be, at this stage anyway, maybe not as big, but certainly growing that. So the consolidation path is, I think, definitely going to be part of where we go in 24 and 25. I think you're going to need new companies like ourselves that come on and find these new deposits. And whether we, as Kelly, take it into that production side, or whether we look at sort of, down the M&A route, only time will tell, and it'll depend on what your assets produce in the short term. And I think we're pretty well placed to be able to produce some good news earlier on in the piece, and that's what I'm hoping to be able to show from some of the work that we've already been doing.
Got it.